Are you thinking about moving to Scottsdale, Arizona? Don't pack your bags just yet. I'm going to answer the 12 important questions that you forgot to ask, and the answers are sure to surprise you. From school choice and outside the box fun things to do, to crime rates, traffic, and how to keep those pesky critters away. So if unedited and unfiltered is what you want, unedited and unfiltered answers to all your questions is what you'll get. But hold on tight. This Q&A session might just knock you out. The number one challenge I've had in almost 3 decades now in the real estate business is helping clients get acclimated to a new city. People are always saying, you know, Todd, I think we're going to rent for the first year because we're not quite sure where we want to own yet. Folks, my name is Todd Hall. I'm founder of Phoenix Homes and Hotspots right here in beautiful, sunny Phoenix, Arizona. If it's your first time to our channel, welcome. This is the #1 real estate YouTube channel in the state of Arizona, we're proud to say. And look, that's exactly why I built this real estate channel. This is the first step in a great 4-step process that we use to help you figure out what's what. We're going to show you the best communities, but we're also going to show you the lifestyle and all the top hotspots that surround them. From there, we have 3 more steps to help you make a determination of where's the best place to live, so that when you arrive here in the Phoenix Metro, you're prepared to hit the ground running, where you don't have to rent, you don't have to give up that equity. We're going to assist you with that. Look, again, if it's your first time, welcome. Please subscribe to our channel. A lot of our clients binge watch our videos, so hit that subscribe button right now. And then if you're planning a trip out here to Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, East Valley, West Valley, whatever it is, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. That way we can set up your tours, we can show you where all of our local hotspots are, and basically we can be your key to AZ. All right, in my hand, I have 12 different questions that I've been asked over the course of 20 plus years here in Scottsdale. They're questions that you've either probably not thought to ask, or you'll be a little bit surprised with the answer. So let's jump right in. Question number 1, can you tell me which neighborhoods I should be looking at moving into for the best schools? This is a very common question. However, the answer surprises a lot of people. So let's first of all talk about Arizona schools in general. We don't have the most amazing schools, although there are some very good ones. And so the neighborhoods and the areas are pretty important. Chandler Gilbert in the East Valley has 2 of the better school districts. Scottsdale has a good school district, and Peoria in the West Valley. Now, since this is a Scottsdale video, let's talk specifically about Scottsdale. As you move further north, so in South Scottsdale, I don't love the schools in that area. As you move further north, up into the kind of central area of McCormick Ranch and up into North Scottsdale, the schools do get better, and you have some pretty good ones. Now, here's the great news in Arizona, and where this might surprise you is if you're coming from a state that doesn't have school choice, in Arizona, we have school choice. What that means is you do not have to pick the neighborhood you move into based on the schools that are assigned to that neighborhood. Amazing news for most people, because I just had some friends that moved to California down in the San Diego area, and they had a hard time finding a home in the school district that they wanted their kids to go to. Here, you don't have to worry about that. What we do is we have a school choice program. School choice allows you to take your kids out of the schools that are assigned to them, or even out of district, but you have to go through an open enrollment process. Okay, it means you have to be on top of it when that open enrollment process starts, especially for the most popular schools, and then you have to be accepted through that. Now, we also have some really great public charter schools, and we have some really great private schools out here as well. So there are lots of great options. Again, good news, you don't have to pick your school or your home based on the school district. You can pick the perfect home and then find the right school that's somewhere near that home. So that was number 1. Number 2, is Scottsdale considered a pet-friendly city? You know, first of all, we are very much an outdoors city. Of course, the summers are hot. We'll talk a little bit more about what summers look like here in a little bit. But yes, absolutely. You're going to find everywhere you go, including restaurants that have outdoor patios and those types of things, you're going to find a lot of people walking around with their pets. So it's a very pet-friendly city. It's very much an outdoor city. So if you have your little furry friends, bring them along. I think you're going to fit in really well here in Scottsdale and the greater Phoenix area as well. Hey, if you haven't gotten enough here on this YouTube channel and you want more great content on what to do while you're visiting the Phoenix Metro, I just created a new Facebook group. It's called Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. So when you're done here, head over there. I'm going to show you all the top hotspots in and around Scottsdale, Arizona, from restaurants, nightlife, shopping, golfing, hikes, special events coming to town. I'm going to do some video walkthroughs with local owners and them walking you through their hotspot. And you're going to get lots of great local residents and their recommendations for what you should do while you're visiting here in the Phoenix Metro. So again, when you're done here, head over to the Facebook group, Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. We'll see you over there. Number 3, I'm moving to Scottsdale from LA. I'm tired of traffic. What is the traffic like in Scottsdale and commuting in Phoenix in general? So here's the cool thing is that compared to LA, our traffic is nothing. And honestly, you know, when people come out here and visit Phoenix, the Phoenix Valley for the first time, and when I'm driving around looking for homes in Scottsdale, one of the first things they always say is, "Where is everybody?" And it could be like rush hour. It could be like a really busy time. Like, why aren't, you know, where are all the people? Why aren't the lights all backed up? Or why isn't it bumper to bumper on the freeways? And by the way, sometimes it is. I'm not saying that we never have bumper to bumper traffic, especially in rush hour, but in and around the Scottsdale area, it's not too bad. Now, Greater Phoenix, the reason for that, by the way, is Greater Phoenix is really spread out. From corner to corner, it's like two hours of drive time. So since we're not so densely populated, like everything isn't just so compacted into smaller areas and everything's so spread out, it keeps our traffic lighter on our freeways and even on our side roads. So the other thing, by the way, we do a really good job of staying ahead of infrastructure. So if you go way out to the East Valley into Mesa where they're building new homes, major metropolitan area, our traffic is quite light. I love the idea of living in the desert, but I also love my urban lifestyle. Where's the best place to live to be close to the best restaurants, shopping, and nightlife? So one of the things about Scottsdale is it's fairly central. If you look at Scottsdale on a map, you're going to see it's fairly central. Now, as you get way, way, way up into North Scottsdale, like out in the desert mountain area, you know, it takes you 15, 20 minutes, just depending on where you live in that community, by the way, just to get down to the 101 freeway, to get down to some of the main restaurants and shopping areas. Now, there are restaurants and shopping up in that area in kind of Cave Creek and Carefree and some of those cities. But if you want to get into where the most popular destinations are, you do have to drive a little bit. Now, if you're in South Scottsdale, you're right in the middle of it. I mean, that is urban central, and so you're right in the thick of some of the best restaurants and shopping in all of Arizona. And then even if you're up in North Scottsdale, there's some great shopping and restaurant districts throughout that area as well. So long, if you're moving to Scottsdale, so long as you're not way far up on the north side, you're going to have pretty good access to some of the best shopping and restaurants that you're going to find anywhere in this state. Crime is number 5. Crime is now out of control in my city. What is crime like in Scottsdale? You know, I've been in the real estate business now since 1999, so I know your pain points. And the number 1 pain point is finding the right real estate consultant to work with, but the other one is finding the right loan broker. Now listen, I haven't told very many people this, but my first couple of years in the business, I almost left the business. And it was because there were things in a real estate transaction that I personally couldn't control. And that number one thing was that my loan brokers that I was referring my clients to were dropping the ball. Couldn't have been more frustrating. So I know if it was frustrating for me, it's frustrating for you. Look, you need somebody that's going to give you the best communication. They're going to do what they say they do. They close your loan on time, but also they give you the best pricing, the lowest interest rates and the lowest closing costs without having to haggle with them. The loan team I work with now, I've been working with since 2005. They are the best of the best of the best. My clients thank me every time they use them. If you want them as well on your team, you want to be on our team, you know what to do. Pick up the phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I'll make sure you get hooked up with the best team here in the Phoenix Metro. Now listen, let's get back to this video. This is a really good one. We've seen over the last several years that crime has really spiked across the country. And so in Scottsdale, as far as violent crime, we're well below, in fact, 45% below the national average in terms of violent crime. If you look on a map, you'll see that just crime in general, if you look at Scottsdale and look at the Phoenix bordering us to the west, it's night and day. So really not too bad. When you're talking about minor crimes, like theft is a big one. Like if you want to compare Scottsdale with the rest of the country and where it's more on par with the average, theft would be one. Now again, I will say, as you move towards South Scottsdale, and I don't want to make South Scottsdale sound terrible because it's not. It's a great place to live. But more of those crimes are going to take place more to the south of Scottsdale, like zip codes 85257, 85251. You'll find a little bit more of that. As you move north, especially north of the 101 freeway in Scottsdale, a lot of those communities are gated and even guard gated. So you're going to find very little crime up to the north. Again, not bad to the south. The crimes that are taking place are more like theft and those types of things. But anyway, but yeah, compared on a national scale, our crime levels are very, very light. Number 6, everybody talks about how hot it is in Phoenix. What do people do in the hot summer months? I actually like this question because sometimes people will say, well, is it really that hot in the summer? It's like, yeah, dude, it's really that hot, right? I mean, that's an easy question to answer. The question that what do people do in the hot summer months is a fantastic question, though, because just because it's 110, ranging from 108 to 115 degrees, and sometimes up to 120 degrees on a real extreme summer, yeah, it's hot, it's dry, so you're not dripping sweat like you would be on the East Coast. But with that being said, the question again, what do people do? First of all, it's pool season. So one of the things that people don't know about the Phoenix Metro, you think it's just you can swim all year round, which is true. I mean, the weather for the most part will allow you to swim 9-10 months out of the year. December, January can get pretty cold. So the weather allows for it, but here's the thing. If your pool doesn't have a heater on it, you're only getting about 5 or 6 good months of pool of swimming time because in February might be a 70-degree day, but your pool might be really, really cold. So it's swim season first and foremost. The second thing that people don't really know about Arizona is that we're very close to the mountains. I just went up to Woods Canyon, the lake, the other day, and did a little bit of fishing and spent some time with the kids up there. There's hiking trails. It sits on top of a ridge. So where it was 100 degrees down here in the valley, it was 70 degrees up there. So a lot of people like to head up north. They go up to Sedona, Flagstaff, or over a little bit further east towards that Payson area, Woods Canyon Lake, and just get out of the heat. Get out into the outdoors where it's a little bit more foresty, and again, it's not far away. So those are some of the things that you could do. And of course, there's lots of indoor activities. There's tons and tons of great things. We have an area I call the Talking Stick Family Fun Corridor, just right here in Scottsdale, and it's kind of in the central Scottsdale area, and tons of things to do there, all indoor activities. So yeah, it's true. You're not going to see a ton of people just walking around like you will the rest of the year. In February, you'll see lots of people out on the street in the parks. It's not like that as much in the summer, but still plenty to do to keep you occupied in those hot summer months. Number 7, I've heard it doesn't rain much in the Phoenix desert, but when it does, it rains hard. Do I have to worry about flooding and buy flood insurance? So so yes, that's correct. First of all, we don't get a lot of rain, but when we do get it, we get monsoons in the summer. But throughout the year, we can get some pretty big rainstorms, and it'll come down fairly hard. So it's a great question. One of the things that you'll notice here is we have, when they build neighborhoods, just starting on a neighborhood level, when developers build neighborhoods, they build them with little park areas, and you'll see them sunk down in a little bit, and you'll see drainage systems that roll into those parks. So most of the year they're used as parks for kids to play in, but when it rains really hard, they're used as just an outlet for that neighborhood to drain the water into, so the homes and the neighborhood itself doesn't flood. Now here in Scottsdale, we have a greenbelt that runs right down the heart of Scottsdale, from North Scottsdale to South Scottsdale. It kind of splits Scottsdale in half, and that's an 11-mile trail, but we call it the Indian Bend Wash Path. Some people, it's the green belt when it's not raining. It's the Indian Bend Wash Path when it is raining, because that whole area, and it's actually the area I'm sitting in right now, but this whole area will actually flood out and turn into a river when those floodwaters come in, and then it runs right down to the Tempe Town Lake and then drains out from there. So again, we do a really great job of channeling those flood zones. So as a general rule, no. If you're way out in a rural area, yes, you could run into some flood zones. If you're living more in the city, especially in Scottsdale, very slim chance that you're going to be living in a flood zone. All right, number 8, is Scottsdale a good place to raise a family? I see you're still watching. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Feel free to leave a comment, and then make sure that you subscribe to this channel and tap that alert bell so we can notify you every time we create new great videos. And oh, by the way, I have lots of videos here on this channel, so if you check the description down below, I'm gonna link a lot of other great videos that are relevant to this video for you to check out. Now, let's get back to the show. Well, we already talked about schools. And we actually talked about my family fun corridor up there. The Talking Stick Family Fun Corridor is what I call it. Don't Google that; you won't find it. But that's, but again, that's what I call it. So, yeah, there's look. Again, we have some really strong schools out here, and look. Not only do you have the family fun corridor, so let's talk about things to do: golf, hiking. Lots of shopping, lots of great restaurants. We talked a little bit about that stuff. Just coming out here to the parks. Again, we have that Indian Bend Wash Path that I talked about a minute ago. Attached to that, you have an 11-mile trail for hiking, biking, walking, jogging. But also attached to that, you have a bunch of golf courses, and you have a bunch of parks. A lot of those parks have aquatic centers. So again, if you like outdoors, this is going to be a fantastic place you're going to find to raise your kiddos. All right, number 9, we're leaving Kansas to finally get away from tornadoes. Are there natural disaster threats in Phoenix? The answer is no. Might we feel a little bit of like a earthquake type of thing? Possibly, but you don't have the threat like you have in California of the big one, as they would call it. And so the other thing that you'll find up in the mountains, again, just to the north, we do get some forest fires and stuff up to the north. But as far as the Phoenix Metro and Phoenix Valley in general, really not much of a threat of natural disasters. So if you're coming from those hurricane regions on the East Coast, or even down towards Texas, Louisiana, or if you're coming from one of those tornado regions or earthquake like California, again, really fantastic place here. One of the things that people aren't aware of and don't necessarily think to ask, but it's an important one. Number 10, I'm an avid outdoorsman and I'm worried I won't be able to fish as much in Phoenix. Where is the nearest fishing lake? All right, so I just talked about some of the lakes that are, or I talked again about the Greenbelt. Now, on that Greenbelt, there's several lakes. So I said there's parks, there's the trail, there's golf, But there's also several lakes, and in those lakes they're stocked with fish. So you have trout, bass, I can't remember all of the different species. You'll have some catfish mixed in there. There's a bunch of different species of fish that are stocked in those lakes. Some of them will even allow small boats. So right here in Phoenix, now they're man-made lakes, they're not natural lakes, but right here in Scottsdale, in Phoenix Metro, but right here in Scottsdale, there are 4 or 5 lakes where you can pull some pretty nice fish out of. Now, you also have several lakes, again, if you go up north into the mountains. Woods Canyon Lake, I just mentioned a minute ago, is, depending on where you're leaving in Scottsdale, but if you're kind of up in that North Scottsdale area, that's an hour and 15 minutes away. So you have lots of great places that you can go if you're willing to make a little weekend camping trip, or even just a day trip out to those locations. There's some fantastic fishing in the area. So if you are an outdoorsman, don't worry, we do have fishing right here in the valley if you want it. Number 11, how are the youth sports programs in the Scottsdale area? Really good question. We have some great club programs. In fact, my daughter just started soccer in a club program. She was playing rec. She's going into 3rd grade, and she's a really good soccer player. So she's going to start playing club soccer. There's some great club basketball, baseball. And so now the facilities here in Scottsdale are the ones that are used for tournaments and a lot of the club practices and stuff. So you're going to find that these fields and basketball courts and all the other stuff are used where people might come from, the West Valley, and they have to come all the way out to Scottsdale to play in games and sometimes tournaments and stuff. So you're going to find the Bell 94 fields up in North Scottsdale. Right next to that, you have the Victorium, which is a great indoor rec center that hosts league games for kiddos, league games for club and rec, basketball, and volleyball. They also do some gymnastics in that facility. Right across the street, basically from there, you have the Ice Den, which is 2 indoor hockey rinks that are also used obviously for hockey, but are also used for ice skating and figure skating. And so, so really, really great facilities here in the Scottsdale area for youth sports. And number 12, last on the list, my wife is terrified of scorpions. Can you ease her concern, or should we be concerned? So yes, number 1, scorpions are going to be part of life out here in Arizona. Now, I will say this, the closer you are to the desert, the more scorpions you're probably going to get. I'll never say that you wouldn't see a scorpion in your house. You could be down here in an urban setting in South Scottsdale and still get a scorpion in your house. It's just not going to be as common as it might be up in North Scottsdale, where you're surrounded by a lot more desert, and so you're going to get more critters up in that area. Now, with that, I always tell people, here's my tip. The pest control people will come out and spray, and my tip is, first of all, have them come out every 2 months and do a spray, especially in those summer months when it's hot. That's when the critters really like to come out. But have them spray every 2 months. They will tell you they're spraying for scorpions, but what they're really doing is they're spraying for the food source. So they're spraying for things like crickets and that type of thing. What you want to do is you want to get a powder called Delta Dust, and you want to put it on the cracks of all your doors and windows and everything else. And what that does is it acts, the way it's been described to me, is it acts like a little shard of glass. So when a scorpion crosses over it, it kills them. And so the goal is, if you find a scorpion in your house, you find a dead scorpion, not a scorpion that's alive. Are they part of life? Yes. Should you be massively concerned? No, not necessarily. Don't be freaked out if you see one. Hopefully it's dead. Hopefully you've taken your precautions. But the other thing I would say is, yeah, it's an inconvenience if you get bit. It's not going to kill you. They're not the big, huge scorpions that you might see in a Western movie out in the middle of the desert. They're little guys. And yes, their bite is going to hurt for a few days. If you were to get bit by a scorpion, I don't know very many people that have, but certainly it does happen from time to time. So take your precautions. Those are the 12 questions. Hey, if you guys have more questions, you know what you can do? You can put them in the comments down below. Hopefully that answered a lot of your questions that you haven't thought to ask, or made a little bit more clarity on some of the things that you might ask, but didn't actually realize exist here in the state of Arizona.
Hey, did you like that video? Show me some love.
hit the like button down below, drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts were. Then be sure you subscribe and tap that alert bell. And from there, I'm gonna do all the heavy lifting for you. We'll create the content. We will notify you every time we create new popular videos right here on Phoenix Homes and Hotspots. And then check the description below. I have some other related videos down there, or you can check out 2 of my most popular videos right here.